So I hope you can hear me. I'm testing out a new headset. Uh, One of the things as a homesteader that you want to do is when you have, let me turn you around here. When you have blueberry trees or elderberry trees, like this one, and this is black elderberry, sebaceous black elderberry, it'll put out these green stems, right, off the taproot. And one of the things, and you can see I've been in here with the axe, one of the things that you have to do is you have to keep on top of it. So you either transplant them or you just cut them off to keep it contained, because it will spread out, right? It will spread out a good 10, 20 feet. So what I've done here this morning is I got to thinking about it, and I decided I'm going to convert this bed here, which was my spare garlic bed, into a blueberry patch. So what I've done is I've dug up a couple different blueberries, because blueberries is one of those trees that you have to have two different types for it to produce berries. And I've took an older sapling, which is about 3 years old, and I've dug that up and I've planted it here. So I've planted 6 of them, and we'll see how they do, right? They might all die. That's okay. I still have the mother plants, right? I still got the big mother plant over there. I got the big mother plant here. I got the little baby plant here. I got another little low bush over there, right? So I'm not too concerned about losing these, right? Because I have more. Now what I did with the elderberry is I did the same thing. And let me take you back here to the corner, because this is a corner I don't use at all. And as you can see, it's basically a possum nest. Okay? That's a possum nest. Okay? Just so you know, that is a possum nest. Alright, Mark, you might like that. That's a big possum nest. I have took a couple of the elderberry and planted them here. Okay, so they'll spread out in this area here, and it's great for them, right? It's great for them. This in a partially shaded spot, which elderberry love. Very well watered, which they love. And I know it's well watered because I have bamboo. I've got bamboo all along my fence line here. So this is a underground creek that runs through here, right? Which is why I don't use this, and because I don't want to disturb the possum. And that's a big mama possum, by the way. And this is the one I planted last year. As you can see, she has grown very large, and she's actually put out a I dropped you. She has actually put out nuts. Gotta go in the burn pile. So that's gonna go there to be burned. She has put out, as you can see, about 3 feet from the main branch, she's put out a baby, right? So here's a little baby that's coming up, and as you can see, it's already got little flowers on it. And yeah, so they will spread like that, okay? And this is another one I planted last year, which I thought had died. This is the thing about trees. If you think they've died, just let them sit, because they might just come back. They might not, but they might just come back. And this one has come back, and I expect it's going to get like that one there in about a year. Okay. This is my maple tree. Now, my maple tree, when I planted it, when I first moved in this place, this is how old this tree is, okay, to give you an idea. I bought this place in 2014. It's 10 years ago. All right. This maple tree, when I planted it, was just a little twig cutting that I took off of my daddy's favorite tree. So this is my papa tree, and it means a lot to me, right? But as you see, I've got this stick here because obviously I planted a elderberry here and it did not survive. You see, it did not survive. So a good rule of thumb is get you some of these stakes, and they could be plastic stakes, they could be wooden stakes, and use them to identify your trees. Now here's my apple tree I planted last year. This is a sapling. I probably will not get any fruit off of this apple tree. Is this the apple tree or the peach? No, this is the apple tree. But it's already put out a baby. Okay? So that's a good indication that your ground is good for that species, right? I do not do a lot here, okay? This is a peach tree that I also planted when I planted that apple tree. And as you see, she's already getting peaches on her. Same thing with this apple tree. It is the same age, right? So obviously the soil down there is not as good as the soil up here, right? But hopefully, next year, I'll get apples off of these two trees, because apples are also one of those is you got to have two different types, okay? And this is my mama tree, peach tree, right? This is where that sapling came from, all right? It came off of this tree. So you can dig up the little young saplings and replant them. I will tell you this, be very careful when you do this that you do not break the roots, that you don't break the taproot. If you break the taproot, it's going to die. I learned that the hard way, okay? As you see here, this is my raspberry bush that I planted last year. And as you see, it has come back with a vengeance. It is actually killing out this blueberry tree right there. So I might actually have to dig that blueberry up and replant it somewhere else. Maybe. I'll see at the end of the season if that's the case, because it does seem to be putting out fruit. So we'll see. This is my blackberry. My blackberry tree, right? They call this a tree because this is a ancient blackberry that has no thorns, okay? It has no thorns whatsoever. And you can see here, it is thornless, right? But it puts out fruit that's like huge, right? And my chickens absolutely love it, okay? They love the blackberries. I love the blackberries. I make blackberry jam out of it. But it is coming into flower, right? If you've never seen a blackberry flower, that's a blackberry flower. And yeah, this is what we do as homesteaders, right? We use what we have on hand, okay? Sometimes it seems chaotic, but you know, it can look chaotic as long as we get food, right? That's what we're concerned about, is food. And as you see, I converted this garden bed, since I took all the garlic out of that front bed down there, I brought it all over here and planted it. And as you see, they're getting ready to flower. So I let these go to flower before I dig them up. And the reason I do that is because they drop seeds. Okay, same with my chives, right? They got nice purple flowers. I let them go to flower. Now the one thing I will say is that all of my marigolds that I had planted in every one of these little squares, they didn't make it. So I think they got choked out by the chickweed. I've got chickweed out the butt out here. But yeah, my desert sage is coming in, and as you can see, hidden, right? You see that? That is a huge, huge kale plant that I did not pull last year. I just left it, and it's come back, and it's going crazy. But I got a whole bunch of weeds coming through here. Now, one of these weeds that you'll see, and you might just pull it, is this right here. This is lamb's quarter. If you see lamb's quarter, this is like spinach. You cook this just like you would spinach. Okay? It is edible. All right? And you want to cook it just like spinach. And, yeah, my peach tree is she's going mad. I'm hoping I get some peaches off of her. She did this last year and then dropped all the peaches early. And I didn't get any. The squirrels loved it. But I'm trying to outmaneuver the squirrels, right? These are my other kale plants that I also didn't plant. They just came up on their own, and they are flowering. So, as you see, they've got little seed pods coming up on the top. So, in about a week or two, I'll come out with like a little plastic bag and I'll collect the seeds, right? Once the flowers drop off and the seeds start to turn like a brownish color, you can collect them. And so this is my kale, right? And this one's flowering. This one isn't. So this one is flowering. The other one isn't. But this one over here is also flowering. And as you see, I got little happy carpenter bee flying around, which I don't mind this mama. You know, carpenter bees are a single bee, right? I don't mind her, right? Because she's pollinating my kale plant. And so she can stay. She's a pretty bee. But let's talk about the onion bed. As you can see, there's a hole here, right? You see that hole? And there's a hole right there. And there's a hole right here. That's a snake hole. Now, I do have two very large and very well-fed black snakes on my property. But I also have copperheads and rattlesnakes that occasionally will show up on my property. Of course, now when I find them, they don't live very long. Just saying. I can't take the chance of them biting the dog or biting me. So, but I do have snake holes here and there, right? I have one over there, and I have one over by the blueberry tree over there. And of course I got to get out here and mow the lawn. That's a given. It's that time of year, folks. But my main point is to show you that just in your backyard, you could have food. Okay? You might have noticed this plant. And this looks like just a ragweed, right? This is not ragweed, by the way. This is sow thistle. And sow thistle can be turned into a tincture to use on wounds. It can also be used to help digestion. So you can look that up. If you don't believe me, you can look that up. So I've left it. Okay? And I'm going to leave it because it's good to have medicinal plants around, right? Even though they absolutely look like weeds, they could be absolutely medicinal plants. As you see here, I have sweet potatoes coming up. Here's more potatoes. Okay, I got potatoes all the way down, right? Now I got a couple barrels here that did not propagate, but I got potatoes here. I didn't plant these. These came up by their own, okay? Because what I do is I always leave 1 or 2 potatoes in the barrel. So if it propagates, it propagates. If it doesn't propagate, it don't, right? But it's a lazy way to do it, right? And it works for me. Now, it might not work for you. I'm not saying everything I do is going to work for you. What I'm saying is look for the easiest way to do things, like the garlic here, right? I did not plant this garlic. I don't know how the garlic got in there, but that garlic is definitely there. So there you go. It's blessings upon blessings, right? Look for your blessings that you have in your backyard. And of course, we still got henbit everywhere, right? We got henbit here. We still got that everywhere. We got purple nettle, right? We got that everywhere. Just look for it, right? Don't be afraid to get out and do a little something, right? That little something, these are blueberry plants. Oh my God, they are so good, right? These blueberry, you cannot give me a store-bought blueberry now, okay? Because these blueberries are so good. Same with the elderberry, right? You can't give me store-bought elderberry, okay? It just, no, okay? I've had the fresh, straight off the vine, as they say, and you can't give me store-bought elderberry. You can't give me store-bought garlic, okay? Because I've had it fresh out of the garden. I know what it tastes like fresh, right? Same thing with kale. You try to feed me commercial raised kale, and it tastes like cardboard to me because I have it fresh, right? So yeah, look at doing simple things. I'm a truck driver. I don't have a lot of time to spend on my garlic beds and my vegetable beds. I don't. So I've got to look for ways to grow things that will propagate by themselves and will produce without a lot of work from me. And for me, that's fruit, right? Because fruit trees, you plant them, you just keep them watered and fertilized twice a year, and boom, you have got massive fruit, okay? And if you look at the cost of food in the store nowadays, fruit is ridiculous, right? It is ridiculous, the prices, right? One thing I will say is look at your zone whenever you're buying any kind of plant and make sure that for your area the plant will survive, okay? I have bought three lime trees, right? Key lime trees, and none of them have survived. So it could just be because it gets kind of cold in the winter here and it's just killing them, but they do not survive here. So that is something I know, that I can never have key limes unless I buy them, and I don't like that, right? Another thing I know is, yes, I have maple trees. I have a couple maple trees growing around the yard, but it takes 20 years before you can tap a maple tree. Okay, because it's got to get big enough that you can be able to tap it. So this is something that I think Prepper Nurse 1 was correct when he said that if you're going to buy trees, try and buy the older trees, okay, so that they produce faster for you. But if you've got time, you can buy the saplings and just know it's going to take 3 to 5 years before they start producing fruit. And the earlier you start, which is a good time is now, is the faster that you will have fruit for your family, right? And I'm telling you all this because I've heard, well, you can't transplant trees in the springtime, blah, 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 right? I hate to tell you, but I've done it every year, right, for the last couple of years, and I have not had a problem. Have I had some losses? Yes. Have I had some successes? Yes. Right? Have I screwed things up? Yeah. Nobody's perfect. So don't let the fact that you might screw up stop you from trying. Okay? And it's a nice cool day, and we are going to finish cutting the yard today, which I did. I worked on it all day yesterday, obviously. And whew, you know, we've already been out here for about an hour or two, already working, already digging, and trust me when I tell you, my ground is not as hard as Prepper Nurse 1's ground, but I do have hard ground here. So to dig up something sometimes is a little bit hard, right? As you can tell, I'm a little bit out of breath because I have been out here. It's about 60 degrees and I'm sweating my butt off because I've been out here really working hard, right? Because I had to clear the beds, and then I had to choose the, you know how it is. So I just thought I'd put this out, right? Because I think most people would want to know this. It's a very easy thing to do, but people get scared of trying something because they don't know how to do it, right? So it's a really easy way to do it. That's what I do. But with all homesteads, you are going to constantly be doing something, right? You're going to be doing maintenance. You're going to be doing gardening. You're going to be taking care of animals. It's a constant thing, right? It is not easy. And I say that because I work as a truck driver. I work anywhere from 50 to 70 hours a week, plus an hour drive both ways, to work and from work is an hour. It's an hour drive to work, an hour drive back. So you're talking a lot of hours Monday through Friday, okay? And then on Saturday and Sunday, you know, all I want to do is just sit and relax. But I've got things to do here on the homestead. There is no time to just sit and relax and let someone else take care of it. I have to do that, okay? So I want to make that perfectly clear that this just does not happen, okay? It takes work. And I think a lot of people have the wrong idea that, oh, I'm just going to plant a seed and it's just going to grow. No. You have to maintain that plant, right? This year I am not really planting vegetables. It's a Jubilee year, and all I'm doing is moving already growing stuff around. I'm taking a year from the vegetable beds, right? I'm going to let my vegetable beds rest, and I'm going to add more compost and more fertilizer to them, and we're going to let them rest this year because I have more projects on my plate than I can deal with the vegetable beds this year. So that's all I've got for you. Bicycle!